Yeah, no nudity, and but the first one kind of seems like it's gonna start out that way. Just be forewarned, you get to see my boxers. So, alright. So, I've got the first one right here. My belly button's right here. So it's literally like inside my belly button. And let's see. The second one, no nudity, is right there, where my stomach kind of folds down. And my pubic bone's like down here. So it's about 2 inches above that. And then let's adjust the... I know all sorts of adjustments with the camera, and I apologize. So let's see. No, not high enough. Alright, let's... I know. And I'm not binding right now, just because I can't, because of where everything is. And my third one is right there. I don't know if you can see it, but belly button, it's over a little bit and up. But look at my belly fur. I had so much more, and then they went and shaved it all off. And I'm very upset about that, because, well, I don't want them to shave it off. I've got a camera behind me, so that's why I keep looking over or a mirror behind me. Yeah, so those are my 3 little incision sites. I get to shower tomorrow and take off the band-aids, and then just the steri strips will come off when they come off. I go back in like 2 weeks, I think, to get stitches out. It might just be to have the surgeon look and see how they're doing. Yeah, but no, we got to the emergency room this morning, and a little over a year ago I changed my name legally. But I hadn't been there since 2007, so my records were technically there. They were just under my old name. And, but I somehow had my name change documents in the car with me. And my low-cost, basically we have low-cost clinics out here. And, you get a card saying you're low income, and, some of the hospitals take them and you pay a certain amount. It's kind of like insurance, but it's really up to the doctors and hospitals whether they take it or not, and most of them don't. But I had that in the car, and I had my name change documents in the car. You know, so they're like, well, you know, what was your old legal name? So I told them, and they just kind of looked at me, and they're like, well, do you happen to have a license with your new name? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got that, and I had Sam bring in I call it my file of important folders. It's got my name change documents and a lot of other important papers that I don't want to lose that have been sitting in the car for about 3 months. But no, so I had her bring those. They took copies of it. They changed my name in the file, and they're like, have you had any surgeries? I'm like, no. They're like, so genitalia-wise, I'm like, I've still got the female body, but I'm on hormones. I've been on them a little over a year. Colorado State says that because of that, I am male. I had my doctor sign a paper. So I don't know how you need to put me in your medical records. They're like, well, Colorado State says you're male, so we'll put you in as male. So they did that. They changed my name and changed my sex in the hospital records, which I wasn't expecting them to change the sex, just the name. But they did that, and they were all very nice. They were all very good with the male pronouns, and that is until my mom showed up. She got there, and, you know, the doctors were talking to me and talking to each other in the room, and a lot of the nurses in, like, the emergency room. And my mom kept correcting them, going, no, that's my daughter, you know, you're being disrespectful. And one of them looked at her, and they're like, no, all of our documents say that he's male. And he says he's male, and Colorado State says he's male. So, you're the one that's wrong. And she just kind of clammed up. But she, whenever new doctors would come and new nurses, she would, in her head, be trying to correct them. You know, and it irritated the living fuck out of me. You know, I'm used to it getting female pronouns at her house. You know, I can't, it's her house. Most I can do is leave, but then she just calls me and bitches at me. So, it's not worth it. Hold on, I'm looking at time real quick. So, but she kept correcting people, in her head at least. You know, well, in her head she was correcting them, but she was, you know, obviously wrong. And, so, but all the staff, they're all real nice. They all respected male pronouns. Obviously, they used the legal name, because, I mean, they don't really have a choice on that. Oh, my incisions hurt. I took another Percocet, but it hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, and so I had a couple friends come visit me. My sister came and saw me earlier, and, like, way before surgery. She had to go to work, so she came before that. And then a couple of my buddies came down, a couple other trans guys, you know, and my mom was there when they were there. And that was when she really got into the whole, no, that's my daughter thing. And it offended my friends, I think. I really think it did. Because, you know, as they were leaving, they're like, hey, Sam, can you walk us out to the car? Which, they, you know, I mean, they're big guys. They're not, I mean, they don't need a bull dyke to walk them out to the car. And, I mean, it wasn't dark. It, you know, it's not a scary place of town. But, you know, it's kind of like, hey, we need to talk to you, so come with us. So, Sam walked him out to the car, and, you know, they gave me high fives, and, you know, good luck, buddy, you know, we'll talk to you tomorrow. And, so they left, and Sam came back in, and then they wheeled me off to surgery, and when I got back to surgery, Sam was there, my mom was there, and Sam's best friend and her best friend's husband were there. And I acknowledged Sam, I acknowledged her best friend and her best friend's husband. Apparently I didn't acknowledge my mother. I was still really out of it, but that says something. You know, when I will acknowledge friends of family, but not my own mother, subconsciously that really does say something. And honestly, it doesn't really bother me. Because apparently, while I was in surgery, my mom spent the entire time arguing with Sam and her best friend and her best friend's husband about, you know, pronouns. And I guess at one point, early in the day, they told me, you know, they're like, they asked, who do you want to make medical decisions if you are not available to make them? You know, if something happens while I'm under anesthesia, who do I appoint to make decisions for me? And I told him Sam. She has my best interest in mind, my mom doesn't. You know, and they just kind of looked at me. I'm like, no, she has her best interest in mind, not mine. Sam has mine. So I appointed Sam basically power of attorney, and she has the right to say, you know, do whatever. Well, while I was in surgery, the surgeon came in to talk to Sam about something. I still don't know what. But my mom freaked out apparently, and more or less drugged the surgeon out of the room and said, no, you talk to me. That's my daughter. And the surgeon's like, one, that's a guy in there. And, alright, fine. And I guess told my mom or asked her whatever the hell she was going to tell Sam. And then ran away. So Sam has no idea what's going on at this point. And it's fucked up that I personally appointed Sam the person that the surgeons and doctors need to talk to. She's the one that is to make all the decisions, to be, you know, okay anything. And yet, my mom refused to let them talk to Sam.